Alright, here for a quick match against Happy Sandwich with 5 color creativity. We've got 2 lands, a run-in 6, and a bolt, so don't know why we wouldn't keep this hand under most circumstances. Pass. Okay, I have not seen that in a while. Grab Stomping Ground. We get hit by a Spell Pierce. I guess we get hit by a Spell Pierce. Sure. I'm not sure what the heck our opponent's playing with Seachrome Coast. Looks like maybe Affinity, perhaps? No, Variant of Hammer. Got it. And pass. And for now, we'll just try to stay alive. That makes an idiot. Okay, go get a hammer and like it, sure. Yes, discard. Alright, get this. They have a Solitude, they have a Solitude, it's kind of whatever. Alright, and Poet Scoops. So, Hitsugu seems reasonable against Hammer. Alpine Moon's probably fine. Some number of Besieges, perhaps. A lot of cards we could bring in. Especially on a draw, we're a little bit behind the 8 ball, so maybe go like this, and like that. Alright, we got running ticks, we got bolt. Seems reasonable enough. Kind of goes turn one, Esper Sentinel. Yep. Let's go ahead and undo your mulligan. So, Esper Sentinel, Giver of Runes. Alright, grab Steam Vents here, green, red. Master Report. I'm cool with this getting blown up. I feel like I'm cool with them taking 3 to spell pierce this. This is a little scary. 4 mana for what? Just March on Fable? Sure. Probably not going to end too well for you. Alright, so... One, two, yes. And that was relatively simple. Back for another match with creativity here. Yep, hand's fine. Turn 1 Triumph, turn 2. This deck really would be a lot worse without running ticks. Okay, turn 1. Okay, so they're on Rhinoceros. Mountains, plains, swamp. So I do need stomping ground here. It's bound to get the wrong thing too. Rhinoceros is. Okay, do I even care here? It's dangerous if they have fire ice here, but it is what it is. If they go for fire ice, we're just supposed to pierce it. They might be lacking a second or a third land, and we wouldn't be able to counter one anyway, so. Okay. Fetchy, fetchy. Shock in. Let me guess, fire ice. Okay, here comes Valen Outburst, which is okay, one of the Rhinos. Could play around force of negation here, but I don't think we're going to. I got an Archon, I got an Archon, hey, hey, hey. Did cause an interesting one, especially considering it's one way you could get rid of an Archon, so I wouldn't be surprised if you have a Brazen Borrower or something. Yep. Okay. It's got some Rhinos. Oy vey, oy vey. Doing this to tap them low so they can't spend too much more else this turn. Alright, and our opponent realizes that we're going to be ultimating a run in ticks, and they probably can't beat that, so. Okay, Hallowed Moonlight in. Hitsugu in. Strike It Rich in. Couple copies of Aseju probably in. Bolts can mostly go out. Hill of Summer might be worth it. Problem is we almost have too many cards we want to bring in. Strike It Rich seems fine. Veil of Summer to try to resolve our things. A little middling maybe. And then EI is a little bit clunky. Mainly we're playing around Blood Moon and additional counter magic if they don't already have Mystical Dispute and Company in. So especially I'm gonna draw, maybe we go down a Pierce. Blood Moon's a thing, but alright. And it's clunky and does nothing. Other than maybe play around Blood Moon. This hand at least has double Niv. Keep the back transmogrify for now. Well, guess we should have put back one of the running Tixes. Turn. Yeah, Fire Ice again. We're not fighting through it this time. Unfortunately, it looks like they do, so sure. No fear of Spell Pierce, huh? Okay, take care of one of the Rhinos, at least get some of the pressure down. Blood Moon. Looks like Blood Moon, sure. Mm-hmm. Yep, they just happen to have their almost ideal draw against us. Anyways, moving on. So I definitely want the pierce in. So I'd like to play first. This hand is a little bit awkward, so I think I got to mulligan. This hand is also awkward. We have to mulligan. No. Access to fetch lands basically are almost mulligans with this deck. Okay. This hand is keepable. Back ending and creativity, I think. Creativity for now. Yep. Okay, so Jetmir's Garden. Survive Triumph. Okay, that gets me. I need to get the Jetmir's, unfortunately. And if this run doesn't resolve, we're in a lot of trouble. Force pitching Brazen Borrower. Okay. Land. There we go. Alright, so that, red Fable. Resolves. Interesting that they're fetching main phase. So we're getting Blood Moon. Sure. All right. And you played your Blood Moon and you lost anyway. I think that's a pretty good stopping point for matches. Alright, so we're back with a quick wrap with creativity. Now, creativity, obviously, one of the best decks in the format. We've been working it into the content as we can, especially as we're trying to get to the point where we have a much larger library of the Tier 1 decks, while also working through our older content and still providing some gameplay videos for some of the other deck guides that we're talking about. But 5-color creativity really needs no introduction. Creativity, you target treasure tokens, you target creature tokens, Dwarf Mine tokens, put an Archon into play, go nuts. Some variance between 3 and 4 Archons, and then you usually have some amount of other ones on the sideboard. One of the big draws to the deck, obviously, getting to play 4 Renans, Ticks, 4 copies of Teferi Time Raveler. You get to play Fable and Creativity, so you still have some game against Blood Moon games. And the rest of the deck, it's just efficient interaction, Lightning Bolts, Spell Pierces, Prismatic Endings, Leyline Bindings. The one downside, obviously, your mana base is extremely greedy. You're playing a 5-color red deck. If it weren't for Renin Ticks, I don't know that this deck would exist or at least be reasonable in the format. So if Ren ever gets banned, this is certainly one of the decks that would take the biggest hit from that. And then, Leyline Binding gets to answer everything. Prismatic Ending similarly can answer most things. Fable ties it all together. You get to play the 5-color Mountain Mana base to support Dwarven Mine. And then, the rest of the deck is pretty self-explanatory in the main deck. Sideboard, Hallowed Moonlights for mirror matches, Rhinos, Urza Saga tokens, etc. Also good against Living End. Surgical Extraction, good against any type of graveyard or combo nonsense. One of Leyline of Sanctity, I'm presuming that's primarily against discard decks or targeted things. Veil of Summer protects against counterspells, but we didn't even bring it in the counterspell matchups. Strike It Rich, along with the one in the main deck, is kind of your anti-Blood Moon tech. Alpine Moon, primarily here for Urza's Saga, but can hit Tron lands, etc. Turn the Earth, a little bit of graveyard and anti-graveyard stuff, a little bit of anti-burn stuff. Hitsugu, primarily here for tokens, whether that be Rhino tokens, Urza's Saga tokens, blowing up 1-cost creatures, etc. Very good against Hammer. 3 Boseiju, these are lands, but they're mainly meant as anti-Blood Moon tech. And then 1 large Spaghetti Monster, both good against Mill and good against, various extraction effects your opponents are going to have potentially against your Archons. That's 5-color creativity in a nutshell. This list was Bob the Dog, aka Nick Grabner on the Sea from this past weekend. So, pretty solid. We beat 2-tier decks. We beat Hammertime and we beat Rhinos, so kind of hard to argue with the results. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you like modern content, and hope to see you for our next video.